So how you're going to build this simple object, or this complex object, I should say, with simple shapes, is you're going to be doing it with what's called primitives. And we're going to deal with Polygon primitives. So there's basically 8 types you can play with. Really only 7, but we're going to count a few others. But you have your sphere, your cube, your cylinder, your cone, your plane, your helix, which is kind of like a spring, your pipe, or a tube, but they call it a pipe, a pyramid, a prism, or a torus. The torus is like a donut shape. With all these shapes, you can do a lot. So how do you make these shapes? It's a very easy solution. The answer is under the create options here. So if I go to create and I choose Polygon Primitives, please don't use NURBS, please don't use subdivisions, use Polygon. And you can make your sphere, cube, cylinder, cone, plane, torus, prism, pyramid, pipe, helix, soccer ball, which is just like a sphere, and a platonic solid, which is another sphere, just different ways of making the same sphere. So here are all the different shapes, and if I hit create Polygon Primitive Sphere, there's a sphere right there. Now if you notice, it puts it right on the origin, and I'm just going to delete that. There's one other thing I'm going to show you, which is the option box. It allows me to make this cylinder very different sizes right off the bat. So if I wanted to make a cylinder with different sizes, I go to create Polygon Cylinder, and I hit that option box. Now radius, that is, here's some geometry terms, right? That's from the center point to the edge. So I'm going to make it, right now it's at 1. I'm going to make a wider radius. So I'm going to make it 4. Height, that's 2 units high. I'm going to make it really tall. So I'm going to make it 9, right? Axis divisions is how many times it gets divided up top. Height divisions is how many times it gets divided this way. Cap divisions is how many times. Don't worry about that stuff. We'll deal with that in a second. I can add all these other things, but I hit create, and there is my bigger cylinder. So there's a small cylinder, there's a big cylinder. If I wanted, instead of a cylinder, I can make a disc. A disc is really just a really flat cylinder. So again, I can go to create, Polygon, cylinder options, and instead of making a really tall cylinder, I can make a very, very flat cylinder, 0.12 units, and hit create. And there is my cylinder I just made right there. If you ever need to go back to the default settings, again, you go to create, Polygon Primitives, cylinder options, and I just hit edit, reset settings. So if you ever mess around too much with your shapes here, you can just hit reset on the settings in the box. So if I go to option box, that's edit, reset settings. I'm going to re-demo that again. So these are all the different shapes you can make, and you're expected to use at least 4 of them for your complex object.